Swadhisthana Chakra. Swadhisthana Chakra means the dwelling place of the self. Basically, the self is inhabited in the second chakra. And that was what I was trying to communicate in the morning class. Because of the basic instincts, which is the root of creation, which is sex, is one of the main aspects of this chakra. Most powerful aspect of this chakra. So, and then there are, so many things are going very close with Freudian ideas. And the time where Freud was actually exploring things scientifically, that is a very big domination of churches and religious thinking was very high. And certainly he was not understood properly. But anyway, that is not our subject. So this second chakra, the root of this chakra, second chakra is sex, family, creative potential, creativity, highly imaginative when a person is in this chakra, and then feeling proud about oneself. These are the aspects of Swadhisthana Chakra. Now we directly go into there is a lot I could talk about it, but now if we go like that, it will take another 3 days, when the whole course will go like this. But anyway, there are 6 petals. The growth of petals from 4 to 6 indicates the growth of awareness. When we cross the first chakra, we have certain awareness about the food security and shelter, how we behave when food and security are there, when they are not there, how we behave, and what are our motivations, our stimulus from this area, and how we behave, how we become very pragmatic, very practical, materialistic, gaining all those things for ourselves, like possessivity, jealousy, all those things which we have seen, is there in that chakra. And there are some of the aspects of that chakra is still slowly you can find in the second chakra. Let us see the petals. There are 6 petals as against the 4 petals of the first chakra. So that indicates the growth of awareness. Now when you are working on the first chakra, you understand all these things, how you are behaving in the first chakra. And then you are trying to grow out of the clutches of the first chakra and negativity. And then you have become a little bit open, a little bit generous. You understood that the stubborn nature will not offer you a possibility to live in the society in a peaceful way. And you should not isolate yourself, because if you isolate, then you will slowly get some strange place where you will start to feel yourself very alone. Human beings cannot live their life alone. They are very dependent beings, not only to the nature, but the society around us. And so as we have understood all the basic things of the first chakra, your faculties are increasing and you are looking at the world in a slightly different perspective. And that is a growth that comes to a person, a seeker, from the first chakra to the second chakra. So these faculties are adding, and that is shown as the increased petal number in the second chakra. The petular sounds of the chakra are bum, the earlier sounds, vam, sham, sham, sam. The letters before. Bum, hum, mum, yam, ram, lam. Bum, hum, mum, yam, ram, lam. These are the petular sounds for practice. Then you see the same format, the circular format, which explains the circular movement of energy, which is the nature of chakras. So that circular picture which is indicating the circular movement of energy, which is called as chakra. And circular movement of energy, we can see that everything that works in the human system is moving in circles. As I have mentioned in the first chakra, thoughts are coming from memory. From thoughts, you are pushed to action, and the action leads you to experience. The experience, from that you get your knowledge, your wisdom, and then you store it in the memory. From the memory, new thoughts are coming, and this is circular movement of the energy. Psychologically, it is working this way. Physically also, it works in this way, same way. Because you came from nowhere and you were embodied, and then the embodiment is growing, and then there will come a day that it starts to decline, and then slowly you get back from where you came. Your components disintegrate and you become the nature. And this is the idea, and that idea is also associated with reincarnation principle. Then what happens to your so-called soul or your mind, which is not actually material, but it is some total of your experience. And that will be released somewhere in the nature. And from there it gets embodied, and it comes back again, occupies a body, and it continues the cycle. So this idea is also there. Then the circle, in the circle you can see a crescent. A crescent. This is the crescent. You see the crescent. This is moon. The circle with a crescent. And the middle core part, which is the whole thing, is the yantra of the chakra. Yantra is the main tool of the chakra, where so many things are depicted. And the main core of the chakra is called the yantra part. And this yantra is being carried by an animal, which is antelope. Modala. And the crescent shows the influence of emotion in this chakra. Moon controls the emotion of an individual. That is why lunar cycles have big influence in human mind, in the emotional life. And then the yantra part is carried by the antelope, modala, and antelope, crocodile. Antelope no? Crocodile. Modala, chicken. Alligator, sorry. Antelope, alligator. And so this animal is supposed to be very cunning. It is a symbol of crookedness, cunningness. Why it is considered as an embodiment of cunningness is that this animal is very tricky, and it stays in the water with the eyes and the tip of the nose alone outside, like an old beast, and nobody would recognize that this animal is there. The only eyes are shown outside and the tip of the nose. And then it is looking for a prey. And when the prey is found, then even without the water moves, they swiftly move, open the mouth, take the prey inside. And after catching the prey inside, and as the mouth closes, it presses the tear glands and started to shed tears. This is the crocodile tears. So, because it has this function in its body, it is believed as a most cunning animal. It goes and takes its prey and simply cries, not touching the deeper part of the soul, but it is simply pretending. And that is why this animal, the alligator and the crocodile, is kept here. And it indicates that the second chakra person is a very cunning person. അതാണ് ഞാൻ പറയാൻ പോകുന്നത്. അത് ഞാൻ പറയാം. And suppose if
അവിടെ എല്ലാ സൂത്രം വേണ്ട മുന്നോട്ട് പോകണമെങ്കിൽ
അതെ അപ്പം for example during the teenage there is attraction for the opposite sex and then you have certain ideas but you have suppose you don't have a direct experience but you are unsure and you like something, a person, beautiful person, and then you want to come closer to the person. So what we do usually is we dress up nicely and as a presentable being, and then it is very normal. You become presentable immediately and then you present yourself to the other one, and when you start your conversation certainly you will be appearing as the most beautiful person in the world. All your beauty and great things of you started to put it out. You are beautiful, at the same time you have another side which you won't show at all. You have another side of character and that you don't show. You present all the great things which you have, and then that will be very attractive for the other one. And what is attractive for the other one, you look and you present that. And so there will be a great listener. Hours and hours you can talk. You never sleep, you remain awake till morning and go on talking beautiful things. The other one does the same thing. And both were really making the other one very impressed so that you can have a close contact with the other person. It's not sex or anything. You want company and companionship from the world, from outside of you. And so you make yourself presentable. And then it continues for a time. And suppose one of these individuals in these two pairs, in the pair, get very bonded by a few days of conversation. Suppose the other one is not bonded that much, but it's a fun or something. Maybe some little intention is there, but don't want to be locked up in that relationship, but wants to have a relationship. And so what will happen at that time? The other one says that I want to marry you. And then you can see that yeah, we can marry, that's no problem, nice. And then finding ways to escape. Because that person doesn't want to do that, but mostly will not have this openness to communicate. Because if the other one gets very sad and start to cry, and these are all difficult situations could come up. And so better don't reject, but play a little bit. And thereby the other one will be okay, you have somehow presented your idea, but not openly. And then slowly this friendship will continue for some time, and then naturally you really create a lot of beautiful situations for them to be together, all those things, but there will be no commitment. In some cases, mostly it is like one part may have commitment, maybe both parts will have commitment, there will be no problem, they can go together and start to live or marry or whatever. But in the other case, there will be a lot of trickery which is developing, which is not shown explicitly, and when the hook comes, they escape. Like the crocodile is staying in the water, it finds his prey in the ground, and then on the ground, and then when the prey is there inside, it starts to cry. Lot of shedding of tears will be there for a person who is in a romantic trance. And then when you are going to be caught by the other one, you escape to the water. Otherwise you come to the shore and then play around. So it's an amphibian. The second chakra person behaves like an amphibian, that he can either take the soil, the ground, or the water for escaping. And escaping from the situation. And this is the nature of the second chakra person. That is why masters have designed the crocodile there in the second chakra as the vehicle of the chakra. Swadhisthana. Then that is the very nature of the second chakra person. And then if both the parties are agree, maybe not opening up their weaker sides, or maybe not at all showing their what you call hidden agenda, nothing. And then after some time it will come out. When all these things are coming up slowly, then it may be very difficult to live together. Family, the small unit of family cannot continue because the person has not exposed himself completely because of the fear of losing his image, or because of the fact that the other one may reject you completely, that you don't want, but you don't want to have. This kind of tricky nature will be very much shown by the second chakra motivated people. That's why the problem. Then even if these two people get together for a married life, still there will be a lot of secrets. When they are, like Osho was saying, when such people, two couples are married and then they are staying together on a bed, they are now two, they are three, he says. One is the apparition of the earlier relationship. The ideas, what should not do, what should you do, how to pretend, all these things are like an apparition of the earlier relationship. It stays between. So these two people will not get contact between each other because there is other ideas, other understandings, and what to do, what not to do, how to pretend, how to show. All these things are going on in the mind. Thereby they don't get contact. That's why Osho says this. When a new couple is there in the bed, they are not two, they are three. It can be four of the other one also. It can be four, yeah. One from the man, one from the woman. So two people are staying in between. Thereby you will never get contact. This is what we said, funny way. So then from that, when you go to the main core of the chakra, you see two deities. One is Ragini. Ragini is the feminine deity. Ragini is the feminine deity, and it's a very beautiful deity, but having two heads. Two heads. One head is the head from the first chakra understanding, and the second chakra head is that. Likewise two. And also the split personality, which is also indicated by the two heads. And then she is having an axe in one of her hands. And this axe is the nature of the person motivated by the second chakra aspects like sex. They are ready to cut open all the obstacles. The family says that it's not good for you, but they will find it out. They cut open the jungle and then pave their way and get into what they want to achieve. And that is the nature of that second chakra person that is indicated by this axe. And then there is the drum. It is when you are entering into some kind of conflicting situations, especially in matters of relationship, certainly your heart will be groaning. It changes its rhythm, it starts to create a new rhythm. So if it is an unbearable rhythm, careful, be alert and careful that there is something which is not okay for you. This is the drum that shows the conflict which is hidden there, or the insecurity which is there in you in starting of something. So if you are alert and watching the heart, at that time you can see the droning of the drum in your heart. If it is a peaceful rhythm, it is okay for you. If it is really very agitated movement of your rhythm of your heart, certainly the body says that I cannot take it. But still, because of some longing, we can get into the relationship or whatever, but maybe usually may not work. Then see, from the other, there is one hand with an arrow, there is a skull. The skull in the lower hand, the lower right hand, is showing that the person in the second chakra is a romantic person, and he can play with his head like a skull in his own hand. He don't find inviting big troubles. He's like a fool. He behaves like a fool with his head in the form of a skull and then unthoughtful behavior. And that is indicated by the skull. And then the arrow, which is the arrow is the Kamabanam, it is called. And there is a deity in Indian tradition which is Kamadevan, and he don't have a body now because he played some strange thing. And to stimulate Lord Shiva, because Parvati was moving around Shiva when he was meditating after the death of Sati, and then Himavan's daughter Parvati was very, very fascinated by this man having big feeling for Shiva, but Shiva was in deep meditation and he never opens his eyes and he was moving. And then, but Shivan has to awake and fall in love with Parvati so that they can get a child, and that child could annihilate a devil. That is the story. And so he has to wake up. So there happened a conspiracy that the gods made a conspiracy and they sent Kamadevan to play something and stimulate the feeling of Kamam in Lord Shiva. This is a mythological story. So he knew that it is going to be really disastrous and dangerous if he comes straight on him. And if he understands that he is playing the trick, he opens his third eye, he will be Bhasma. And so, but he was hiding behind a tree and he was putting his arrow on him. And so he got stimulant of the passion. And then he has seen this lady, which is Parvati's girl, Parvati, and he fell in love with her. But he immediately understood that somebody has played something. And then he looked, he understood he was there. He just opened and he became a cartoon. And so he's not anymore there, he's gone. And so his wife was very sad because husband has lost. So she did a great penance to before Lord Shiva to get a blessing from him that she can ask for a vow that Kamadevan will be brought back to life. And she went there and she did this penance, and then finally Lord Shiva was very Shipraprasha Prasadya, and he was quickly felt that I should do you, and he said to her that, okay, I can do what you want, I can do for you. And so she said, I want my husband back. So he said, yes, I can do this, but I cannot give him his body which is burned. So his presence will be there wherever people think. So that is why Kamam comes when and where nobody knows. Anybody can be stimulated with the feeling of sex at any time because we never know whether it is going to come or not, it suddenly comes. So because of this is a story which is cooked up in mythology, and then Kamadevan is not anymore there, but he is there everywhere. And he can stimulate anybody at any time. And that is the arrow which is upheld by the deity, Kali. Then on the bottom we have seen the skull, which is the nature of the romantic person. And these are the ideas of the Ragini, and then the other deity is Narayana. Narayana means the God who comes out of water, from water. And Vishnu is lying on the ocean of milk and resting there. And he has two instruments in the bottom hands and two on the upper hands. One at the Swadhisthana Chakra, at the Santhi, then the club, and the other hand with the lotus. These are the instruments. Lotus is existence. Pure existence is possible by purity. Otherwise, existence may not be possible if there is no purity and permanent conflict. If it is there, there will be no existence possible. That is indicated by the lotus. And then the club. Anything that happens to you, like a stirring of passion, that needs to be, if it is going to create some trouble, you have to apply your intellect on it, and apply your will and intellect on it, that if you are sure that it is going to be trouble for you, you have to operate your club and your will and get rid of it. That is an idea. And then the quench shell represents actually water. If you put a quench shell on your ear, you can hear like the waves, the sound of waves you can hear. And so a person in the Swadhisthana Chakra has to be a flexible person if you wanted to understand the second chakra. If you are stubborn, you cannot understand anything of passion or sex or anything. And so the person needs to be the need to become like a water, which is the base of the chakra. And so that is the quench shell, which indicates the sound of ocean. So a person in the second chakra need to have the flexibility for a successful person in the area of sex, family, creativity and imagination. Then in this Swadhisthana Chakra, if there is a big conflict that is coming up in the area of sex and things like that, certainly you have to really have a clear vision about what is going on. That is the Sudarshan, clear vision, and then that needs to be applied to get a clarity of your vision, so that you will understand. If you observe, you will understand that whether you are playing some tricks or you are genuinely in love with the partner or the person whom you love. That is very important to know beforehand. Otherwise, by a passion you jump into it, then after some time you understand that you don't love this person anymore, because this person doesn't have the quality which you are seeking for. And so always when we relate with somebody, we have an idea, an ideal person, which is an ideal person you are keeping inside. An ideal, it is called the ideal image. And we hold the ideal image and we are trying to protect this ideal image and read the ideals in that particular person. It is not the problem of the other one, it is your projection that you are trying to read from the other one. This is what we usually do. Then you see, what a beautiful girl or what a beautiful boy. And then all the sankalpas or the imagination that you have about a beautiful being is projected on this. When you project this, you see this. And then you fall in love because it is embodied beauty. And then after a few days, you will understand that it is not anymore that beautiful as you thought of. And then days goes on like this. Here I had a friend, Matthew, and this boy fell in love. He was coming always. He is my younger brother's friend, classmate. He is a very strong. He was like a Mr. Toronto or something like that. Very strong-built boy. And this boy, some days he didn't come, and then he came happily and he said to me that I got a girl and I wanted to marry, but my family is not allowing it, so there is a lot of trouble. And so anyway, I wanted to marry. So then I said that this is good. If you love somebody, you marry. There is no conflict. If you really love, you marry, there is no problem. And I love them really and dearly I love. And so then, with challenging the family, he got married. A great time they have had. Then he is not seen for months in the trance of marriage. After 6 months he came. It's not cooked up story, real story. After 6 months he came. And he said, Cheta, Cheta, ഞാൻ വിചാരിച്ച ആളല്ല ചേട്ടാ. ഞാൻ വിചാരിച്ച ആളല്ല. Now, at the middle of the night, when sometimes she wake up, and when she smiles, I see 2 teeth are jutting out like a vampire. far. He's seeing this. She became vampire in no time, actually. And this is a problem with our vision.
LIC-കാരനാണ് അവർ LIC
അത് തന്നെ അറിയാല്ലേ?
എനിക്കറിയാം, നല്ല അറിയാം ഈ സംഭവം അറിഞ്ഞൂടാ,
പോയി
ഏകദേശം പ്രശ്നം അറിയാം.
ഇതെല്ലാം പോയി ആ സാർ, എനിക്ക് കുഴപ്പമായി. അവൾ ഭയങ്കര കോമ്പൻസേഷന് വേണ്ടി കേസെല്ലാം കൊടുത്ത് ഇവൻ്റെ കയ്യിലുള്ളതെല്ലാം പിടിച്ച് പറിച്ച്
നടക്കണ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് വയ്യാതെ. നല്ല ആരോഗ്യമുള്ള വലിയ മിടുക്കനെ.
അവൻ ഇപ്പം ഭ്രാന്തനായിട്ടാണ്
ഞാൻ കണ്ടു.
ഭ്രാന്തനായി ഒന്നും പറ്റില്ല. എവിടെയൊക്കെ പോയി ഇപ്പോൾ ഭ്രാന്തം വരും, സൈലൻ്റാണ്, ഒന്നും പറയുകയൊന്നുമില്ല. ശരീരമൊക്കെ ശോഷിച്ച് വയസ്സനായല്ലോ ഇപ്പോൾ. അപ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനെ ചിലപ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനെ വരും, ചിരിക്കും, എന്തെങ്കിലും വർത്താനം പറഞ്ഞു, എല്ലാം നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു. ആവുന്ന
നല്ല സ്മാർട്ടായിരുന്നു,
നല്ല സ്മാർട്ടായി. ശരീരമൊക്കെ എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഭയങ്കര
നല്ല ഗുസ്തിക്കാരനെ പോലെ.
ഗുസ്തിക്കാരാണ് അങ്ങനെ. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് ഇറ്റ് ക്യാൻ ഹാപ്പൻ ടു എനിബഡി. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ആ പ്രോപ്പർ വിഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമുക്കങ്ങനെ വരില്ല. എന്തുകൊണ്ട് ഇത് പ്രോപ്പർ വിഷൻ ഈസ് ബ്ലർഡ്? ബിക്കോസ് we are projecting our ideal which we are holding inside on the person whom you see. And then you see that ideal. And then that ideal you are madly in love with. But it is not the true thing. So this is what happens. We project our longings, our ideas, our concepts about a beautiful being. And you look for that and you see that in the person. It's not the problem with the other one. The other one was the same. But we alter the vision, and so that is why the Swadhisthana is very important, the Swadhisthana Chakra. And when you get that Swadhisthana, it is like a strong weapon which can actually take away all the illusions. That is the Swadhisthana Chakra which is kept in the hands of Lord Narayana. Then you, okay, that is it. And these are the symbols of the chakra, and the bija mantras are the mantras are bam, hum, mum, the petular sounds, petular mum. Bam, hum, mum, yam, ram, lam. Bam, hum, mum, yam, ram, lam. These are the petular sounds. For practice to stir there. Then you have these bija mantra, which is Vam. When you are working with the sound lam, the sound is square and unleashing one of the sides. Then in this chakra, when you do the sound Vam, your mouth assumes the form of a rock. Vam, Vam. So that indicates the flexibility of the center. Vam. Vam has no sharp edges. Lang, see, this is Vam. So it is like a movement, like wave, which is very flexible. And to create that flexibility, this mantra was kept there, and it indicates that you need to be flexible if you want to have a family life or a partner in your life. If we don't have that kind of a flexibility, certainly family life will be like a big problem, like a deadlock. Just you will not be able to go further. Then separation, crisis, all these things can happen. But if you find that life together with somebody is not working, certainly you have to separate and go. There is no other way. But we are scared of the society. What society will think, what shame the society will add on you and your family. And so people go on pulling on with troubles. But that also is good that by doing that you will be getting the possibility to work on yourself to really understand your problems and get out of it. Even otherwise you can work out on your problem. You don't need to be in a hellish experience to work out. But you get signs of this, then you need to work on yourself. The working on is done by introspection, and through the introspection you understand the ideal being which you are keeping inside yourself, which is called the ideal image, that is projected on the person, and you understood on the basis of the ideal image projection, and then you started to relate with the other one. You don't have the proper vision of things which is happening, and that is the root cause of the problem. So a person needs to be an observant to actually see the problem which is there inside. And then you get a clarity of vision. And with that clarity, you get into the flexibility, and then you can manage your life. And then you understood the second chakra aspects. It's a very, very strong chakra, because we are all coming through that during the teenage. And I have seen a lot of things like this in the Western world. Now it is common in India also. But 35 years ago when I moved to Italy, I have seen this. Because then they fall in love with, anybody falls in love with somebody, and then they are really celebrating their life. You can see it's a great time and great things. They demonstrate, they don't care the society, so they can show everything which is coming from within expressly in front of the society. It is fantastic to see these things and how people can express their feelings and love. And then after some time, maybe they understand that this is not what I was looking for and this is not working, and they separate. There is no problem for them to separate. It takes some time. If they are married, it takes 2 years. And then when they are out of the wedlock, certainly, then they start to feel the loneliness. And loneliness, they started to look for a partner. Normal. This is normal. You need somebody. So you look for a partner and then you find somebody. Then you start a gang. And that is the time in between you and the other one, you are 4 and not 2. The apparition of the earlier one and the apparition of this one, together 4. And then 2 people are staying in between, you never get contact. This is what the idea Osho was narrating. And then certainly you become very cautious, because the past experience should not happen. Thereby you lose the spontaneity of behavior. You should be spontaneous, and then heart-to-heart communication, and no hiding, nothing. You expose your heart completely and the other one exposed. Intellectually you may be living in 2 different strata of understanding, but emotionally you can recognize the feeling and emotion of the other one. When you cry, they understand. If they cry, you can also understand. And so relate with the other one in an emotional way, so that you will come closer and closer, not intellectually possible. In intellect, we are rationalizing everything, and rationality is not something which is helping a person for a better relationship. There is no way. Because it is looking for right and wrong, good and bad. Right and wrong, good and bad will create the divide between people. But whereas if you are emotionally involving with the other one, you forget all these discriminatory good and bad things, and then you can relate with the other person. And so the second chakra is an emotional chakra, and if things are not working well in the second chakra, certainly you get into a very low mood. Depression will come, isolation will come first. Because you don't know how to live the society. That is what people are projecting on you. Because you are a failure now. When you are a failure, you really want to substantiate. Sometimes you may not have the strength to substantiate to the society, to correct and show that I am not the right, I am not the bad one. And my fault is not my side, it is from the other one. So they go on working in their dialogue, in society, always talking about it, trying to get a justification of what they are doing, to get the support of the society in favor of it. Both of them do this. And then finally, everything is okay, right, you are justified, but you are suffering. You are alone. And then this loneliness will grab the people who are in that, and then what will happen? And loneliness, if it is allowed to grow, certainly you plunge into deeper depression. And this depression is allowed to continue for a longer time, certainly suicidal tendencies can come because they start to feel that there is no meaning in this life. My life is doomed. No, there is a failure happen, but my life is not doomed. But the feeling is such that I am useless. And people are in the society around you, they always look at you with little sympathy. You don't want to come out, so you close the door, you stay inside, you lay on your belly, then you put your pillow on top of your head to hide yourself, and then you love darkness. Slowly, isolation is perfect, complete, and then it can lead to dangerous tendencies like committing suicide. This is a very dangerous chakra, very beautiful chakra, and at the same time very, very dangerous for human life. So that is why all the aspects which is presented, like the trickery nature of the second chakra person, whenever it is coming, one needs to be honest, to explore, understand for yourself, and also communicate what you feel. You may not get anybody in favor of you, but you are honest. That honesty will be recognized. But usually it is not by the, suppose if you, from the strata from which you are, the social strata from which you are coming, but you belong for a person in a different strata of society, certainly there is a lot of fear and anxiety. You love, but you cannot reach that. And so all these questions will come. You can openly speak about it to the other one, but usually it is not spoken openly. Then there is trickery and cunningness, covering up all these things, presenting the person whom you are not. You present another person which is not you, who is not you. And so there is a lot of work that needs to be done in the second chakra. It's a very creative chakra because we cook up a lot of stories. High imagination will be working in the second chakra, highly imaginative. And with that imagination, when we are approaching and the world, you are very, very creative. You can create anything, you can create stories, you can be very artistic. You start to live an imaginary world through imagination, all these things. So the chakra is highly imaginative, highly illusory chakra. Create everything mentally, and you start to live that mental illusion. And this is the nature of the second chakra. But by Swadhisthana Chakra, you have a possibility to really see cleanly who you are, what is happening, and you apply that, you get a clean vision of yourself and your behavior. Certainly you can get into